Welcome to Meet the Author, a VTMP series where stories come to life. Each episode, we go beyond the pages to meet the voices behind the books. At Because There's More Publishing, there's always more to the story. Let's dive in. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Meet the Author. I am Lynetta Allen, the host and founder of Because There's More Publishing. Today, we are excited to spotlight Chawanda Allen, the author of The End to Our Beginning. Hello, Chawanda. How are you doing today?
I am good, Lynetta. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm excited that you are joining us for this segment of Meet the Author, and we're going to dive right in so our community can get to know you a little bit better. Can you tell us a little about yourself, who you are outside of writing, like your profession, business, family, or passions?
Oh, thank you, Lynetta, for that. I am Chawanda Allen, and I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia, and a proud mother of two, as well as a sister, as well as a minister in the gospel. I prophetically speak and do motivational speaking as well. And as far as just a home girl, down the road, just like to have barbecues with my family, and we like to laugh and have a good time with good communication, good conversation, and just I like for people to be empowered. I like for um, to see the growth of people and their development. That's one of my passions, is to see their growth and to be able to activate and just live life to its fullest.
Awesome. So, what inspired you to begin your writing journey and not only to write, right, but to also share?
So my inspiration came out of my experience. It really wasn't my idea to write, but of course, the Lord wanted me to write this particular book because that's something that He gave me, which is the end to our beginning. So, this is how I started my journey of writing. I was always a writer, but I did journaling. I always wrote down my ideas or something that God gave me, or my dreams, or, you know, um, just different topics of my life. I would just do simple writing, songs I would write like that. But when it came to a book, that was something new for me.
What was that journey like for you since it was new? I understand you were used to writing because you were a journaler. But outside of journaling, what was that process like actually taking your thoughts or taking notes that you have put in your journal and then compiling um, the information and the revelation that the Lord has given you to now present it in book format? What was that journey like for you?
Oh, actually that journey for me was my healing. It was my process of healing, and it was my time of learning. So when I started writing, it was what God gave me. So in that writing, it was times where I was being healed in that writing. And
Mm.
there was times where I was being taught in that writing. And more revelation as I started writing began to flow out of me. And a lot of times I didn't know what was in me until I started writing. And when I started writing is when everything just flowed like water. And that's when I realized how much of my experience was in me that I did not remember, that came out of me through writing.
Amazing. So, a lot of the experience, a lot of the journey in the writing of the book wasn't just for us who would be the
Yeah.
receiver,
Oh,
in terms
absolutely.
of the person reading the book, but it was the journey was really for you too.
Oh, absolutely. I am a firm believer. Anytime that God gives you something, it's really for you first.
Mhm.
You are to eat from your own tree,
Yes.
and before you start distributing. And so that was one of the things that he privileged me to have, is to be able to eat. And while I was eating, I was being healed, through, because I went through a horrific time as far as my divorce, but that was my time also of healing.
What word of encouragement would you give someone whom God has called to write? He said, I want you to write this book. And maybe the subject matter that they are writing on, um, it may be a pain point for them, or maybe it's a subject matter that they don't want to rehash. It's something from the past, but God is saying to write. What word of encouragement would you give to them, given that your process of writing was also healing for you? How would you encourage them?
Right through the tears.
Mm.
Write as you're crying, write it out. Describe what you're feeling in your writing. When that pain begins to hit, or things begin to flow through you, that is the perfect time to make that expression on paper. That is the perfect time to go ahead and express that those tears, those emotions that is coming out in your writing, because that's when the readers are able to feel it, and they may be able to also imagine what is happening at that moment. So I definitely encourage you, when if it's hard for you, write through the pain, right through that pain, and describe the pain that you're feeling at that moment, or describe the joy that you're feeling at that
Mhm.
moment. Whatever expressions that you're having, whatever emotions that you're having, describe that to put it on paper, so then the readers are able to feel that same emotion that you're going through at that moment. They'll be able to feel it too.
Great, great advice. One other question, just to piggyback on that.
Yeah.
I just know that sometimes writers have um, a hard time with writing straight through, right? There may be times in that journey where you may need to pause, take a break, pull back, reflect, then come back to it. And some people say it's writer's block, but it could just be that you need to step back for a moment,
Yeah.
um, and be refreshed, and then hop back into your writing rhythm. Did you experience those moments where you needed to pause, where you needed to step back for a moment from the writing of the book? And in
Hmm.
those moments, what were you experiencing?
Oh yes, absolutely, all the time. All the above. Okay, so there were times in my writing that were attacks. One. And so I had to step back and say, okay, where is this coming from? I don't understand. And then, because I understand, the Lord began to allow me to see that those attacks become your distraction.
Mhm.
And so, in that distraction, sometimes you have to pull back and say, okay, God, give me the strength, give me the grace. I need your grace now to
Mhm.
go ahead and finish this thing that I started, and then and pray about it, and then go back to it. And then there are other times it may not be attack. It just need a moment so God can give you something else.
Mhm.
And so there was times where I stepped back, and then all of a sudden this revelation is coming out of me, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to write this down. I got to write this down. I got to start writing, and then I start writing, and it flows out like water. So it's
Mm.
not that you're having a block. It's a time where you're having a moment. It's that pause moment where you're allowing yourself to be still, so you can get the nuggets. that you need in order to continue your writing.
Awesome. That is great. That is great. And before we move on from the book to learn a little bit more about you, I know we just talked about
Mhm.
what it was like in terms of the writing journey itself. What is one good thing? I know there are many things, good things that have come out, that have transpired as a result of this work. But is
Mhm.
there one thing in particular that stands out for you?
Oh yeah, by the time this book was completed, I was restored.
Amen.
That was good. And then by the time this book was completed as well, I was able to understand the process better. I was able to understand the process of the writing, because when I came to do this writing, I was a blank canvas. I was just a piece of paper with no words.
Mhm.
And so when I began to write, one of my um, best advice, which you gave me, was don't worry about the format,
Mhm.
but just go ahead and write.
Mhm.
And that took the pressure off of me,
Yes.
because a lot of times we're trying to figure out how we're going to format everything instead of writing it.
Mhm.
And I believe that was a moment where I was proud. At the end, I was able to say, "Oh God, thank you for that."
Yes.
Able to complete that actual work, and because that was something new for me. So I would just encourage you to just let this writing not just be for you, but also for other people. You think about, when you're writing, whatever you're writing, you're thinking about others also that's going to be reading it, and you want them to get out of it what you got out of it. So if it was restoration for me, I want it to be restoration for others as well.
Mhm. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. And our last question of the day,
Okay.
is there one lesson or value that guides you in your life?
Yes. So there's many lessons. But the one main lesson is, you have to learn to live and live to learn. What is it that I need to learn? What is it that I need to get out this lesson? What is it and even in my trials and tribulations, I'm like, hurry up, God, let it be quick, because I need to know. I need to be able to understand what it is that I need to get out this lesson, because this is just too much. But at the same time, I would encourage anyone and everyone on this journey of writing. Be patient.
Mhm.
Be patient with you. Be patient with the process. Be patient with the style of writing, and the editing of it all,
Mhm.
the whole process of it. Be patient, but also see your completion.
Mhm.
Make sure you get to the end of it,
Mhm.
because sometimes that is what takes the longest.
Amen. Amen. I'm sure our listeners and viewers have been encouraged by your words. And we just want to say thank you again for joining us on today, Wanda. We look forward to all that God will continue to do through you, not only through your book, The End to Our Beginning, but through you in ministry, as well. And we look forward to the next time. Until then, have a blessed day.
All right. Thank you. You too.
You've been watching Meet the Author from Because There's More Publishing. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new conversation. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep believing, because